of Fayetteville State University, Chancellor James A. Anderson presiding, will now begin. Please rise for the playing of the national anthem. At the conclusion of the national anthem, please remain standing for the singing of the sesquicentennial hymn by the FSU Concert Choir under the direction of Dr. Denise Payton and accompanied by Mr. Brian Lyons.
Oh, say, can you see by the boom, boom, early light, so proudly we hail our last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
That they've had to overcome. So to varying degrees, you are not just getting your master's degree, you now are beginning to become the masters of your own destiny. The decisions that you make from this point on are really going to affect the next 5 years, 10 years, and 20 years. And the challenges and the crises that you'll have will be even more magnified. I never thought when I finished my PhD at Cornell that just a few short years after that I would be taking care of both of my parents who simultaneously contracted Alzheimer's. And I raised a handicapped, mentally retarded daughter. So basically, I had 3 children I was taking care of. Over 7 years, it cost me $350,000 for my parents' care. Here, when I finished my doctorate at Cornell and I had this elite Ivy League PhD, I thought the world was at my feet, okay? My feet were constantly going to the bank, okay? Trying to deal with the cost I had of taking care of my parents. So think about 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. The Capel family has had tremendous sorrow this year.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank Mr. Jackson, our student body president, for that fine introduction. It makes me sound like I'm someone that's very important, but I'm actually just a good old country boy from Mississippi. So I'm so glad to be here. I do want to recognize my wife and my daughter. I think they're in the audience. I do want to make sure that I'm able to come back home tonight. So, Lieutenant Colonel Vivian Taylor, I got to tell you, I got some words that I'm going to prepare, but walking in with the Chancellor, he has a tremendous piece of jewelry that hangs on his neck. I assume that's the Chancellor's medal? Chancellor's bling bling. You got to figure out what you got to do to get that. It has the name of all the past presidents, so I just thought that was great. So, wow, Chancellor's bling bling. I want to say thank you to Chancellor Anderson for what is undoubtedly a great honor addressing the graduates of Fayetteville State University. Chancellor Anderson, thank you so much for your service and leadership to Fayetteville State. The Bronco family owes such a huge debt to your visionary leadership. You changed this institution in ways one can't imagine. We're all here proud as Broncos. As always, I give a recognition to the UNC Board of Governors and the FSU Board of Trustees, as well as recognition to the administration of Fayetteville State University. With every great leader comes a great leadership team, and I'd like to thank the various deans of each school and your entire faculty and staff for your service. I can't say enough about the importance of your work at this moment during what may be the most critical time for our country since the founding of this institution. I hope you all will bear with me some because I am a school teacher, so a lot of what I talk about will be concerning education, but you'll see that what I say is really universal to every graduate that's here today. And now to the graduates of Fayetteville State, is this not a great moment? You graduate during the sesquicentennial celebration of Fayetteville State University. Now, I've been practicing that word all night, sesquicentennial. I got it right, so don't expect me to say it again. While you may understand that 150 years have passed since the establishment of Fayetteville State, you may not have given much thought about the significance of this institution's founding and the absolute and unequivocal impact it's had on the education of people, particularly people of color in North Carolina. I think it's important that as graduates of Fayetteville State, you are able to connect the dots and recognize the divine intervention and vision that went into building this university and the critical need that exists in the South in 1867, and more importantly, how it connects to the state of education today and how it should drive you as graduates of Fayetteville State. You want to know how great Fayetteville State is doing? Just spend a day with our chancellor and you'll immediately recognize our public system of education is doing an outstanding job. The Chancellor's leadership here speaks to your matriculation, and your matriculation is proof positive of the words I speak. So I hope my little rant helps each of you understand the importance of your work in the future. And without quality public schools and universities, and quality school teachers and leaders will hang in the balance just as newly freed slaves did in 1867. And as a graduate of Fayetteville State, you must know and understand FSU's legacy as an educational institution, and the graduates of Fayetteville State bring what I call that funk every single day when you show up to work. I won't belabor the point of this address. After all, the chancellor only gave me 15 minutes. So I'll get straight to one of the groups I want to inspire today, and that's educators. Educators, I see you as our saviors. I'm sure you've encountered so many forces and pressures that made you question whether or not you should even go into this profession. And many of you may still be thinking that. I have the degree, but will I teach? The power you hold to shape the lives of young children is unimaginable. The work you do shapes every profession under the sun and shapes the very fabric of this nation. For that reason, you must take this work with the most seriousness that one can imagine. Show up every day, ready and prepared to teach, and be prepared for children with problems and desperate home situations that you only thought existed on TV. Be prepared for parents and communities that could care less about their children. Be prepared for long nights of developing lesson plans and grading papers. Be prepared for a husband or a wife that doesn't understand why you put so much effort into a job that provides so little monetary return or respect. Be prepared to sacrifice beyond what you ever thought was capable. But stay encouraged. To be a teacher is to be one who sacrifices. And remember, the greatest sacrifice is when you forego your own happiness for the sake of someone else's. But when you live and die for the sake of others, you will never be forgotten. Not by the ones you taught, by the ones you love, by the ones you saved, and by God.
State University, it is my privilege and honor to confer upon each of you the degree for which you have been recommended with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. You may be seated. You want because you have earned it. Now, to the mom and dads in here, you may not have put them out of the house when they were undergrads, but They got graduate degrees now. They gotta go. Especially you, man. You the loudest, proud father in here. She gotta go. She gotta leave the house. Okay? They gotta make it on their own now. I know that's your baby. They gotta make it on their own. One last thing, and I say this both with humor and with seriousness. Some of you will want to take your pictures out in front of the fountain, which is fine with us. We prefer that you either sit on the fountain or stand in front of the fountain. If you stand on the ledge and fall in, that's on you. We're not liable. The university is not liable. I've said it publicly, the attorneys here. The university is not liable. So if you stand on the fountain and somehow in your boisterousness fall in, don't sue us. You can't sue us because I've already said it. Okay?